Yeah. If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sit no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
It's Tuesday night, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Nerds Around. It's your boy Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
Anyway, Tone from across the hall.
And today we have joining us the one, the only
B-Mac. What's going on, guys?
What's up? Welcome back.
What's up?
Thank you.
So we have
always good to be back.
We always love having our guests back. We always love it.
Yes.
Anyway, again, welcome back, VMAC. Yes, and we have VMAC with us, joining us for the announcements because we are going to go through some announcements because that's what we do. That's what we love to do. And as far as it goes, yes, podcast announcements. So again, if you guys are not subscribing or following the YouTube channel, you are missing out on some awesome creative series interviews. Last interview we just dropped was Aniba Orio, awesome artist behind the comic Forbidden, which you can see Catch the Craze has been really ramping up with pushing out that book and everything. I believe they just did another successful Kickstarter. So again, make sure you're following them to learn more about the comic and all that. It's by the great Sam Vera as well as the writer for that. But again, we got to have a sit down with Aniba, learn more about him, what fuels him as an artist and everything, and just his creativity. So the next interview that's going to drop is going to be Chandra Free. So if you don't know who Chandra Free is, you will learn with this creative series interview. So make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitch. You get our lives every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Subscribe to us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and all that TikTok. I make stupid TikToks. Look at me. I get the clips. I put them up there. We have fun. We did our nice little, shoot where we're all in white. So again, this is where you see all the fun stuff right there because we look good in white. We look good in white. That's right. Next up, ImbionCon, August 28th, 29th. Free admissions for everybody, free general admissions to this virtual show, free for artists to participate. But then there are also VIP levels. You said VIP levels? Yes, I said VIP levels. Use code Get Nerdy with it. Get 10% off the VIP levels. If you're a vendor, it gets you 10% off the upgraded booths and everything. Again, there are a lot of great stuff in those packages. Make sure you go to the website, imbioncon.com to learn more about that. Again, the show is 28th, 29th. There are over 30 plus panels that have already been planned for this show. Great panels featuring from cosplay to craft making, comic book making, voice acting. So again, you want to keep those dates in there. Geek South Staten Island. I am sad to report that we will not be there live on September 4th, but we will be there September 5th for the virtual show. So if you're in New York, go to the GoSciCon website. They will be having a live show in Staten Island on September 4th, and then they will have a virtual show September 5th. So we will actually be at the virtual show, not the live show, unfortunately, because we were looking forward for that. But again, timing and everything, stuff, life and all that happens. Sorry, but we are looking to do a live event to get to meet people and everything. But we will be there with a panel on September 5th, a panel about, podcasts and everything, because we want to help you get the information learning how to podcast. Finally, the 23rd and 24th of October, Incredicon, Poughkeepsie Galleria Mall. Make sure you're following them. Check them out in Credit Chat. Mike Lopez's show, October 23rd, 25th. So if you're in the Poughkeepsie area, or if you're in the New York area or in that area in the region over there close by, make sure you're going to their website to find out how you can get the tickets. Oh, right, there we go. And make sure you check out the Medusa's Cascade every Saturday. Links are in the description. And there we go. That's morning announcements. Did I do a good job?
Announcements?
Good job.
Morning announcement.
He's doing it like in school.
It's morning for someone.
Right.
5 a.m.
That
somewhere.
tracks.
For someone.
Okay, so let's get into it. I guess like the first one we want to talk about is Masters of the Universe, not He-Man, because it wasn't called He-Man, because VMAC pointed that out. It is not called He-Man. It's called Masters of the Universe. So first of all,
Revelations.
there you go.
Revelations. Yeah.
So I want everybody to get in on this. Come on. I'm going to drink my water now.
Who's going first?
Not it.
Ladies first.
Not it. Nope.
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have the popular opinion here, but I'll go first then, I guess. So for me, I have to, let me just rewind a little bit because I did not watch He-Man as a kid. I know of He-Man, I know of She-Ra. I don't remember any of the shows. However, I did have action figures. Older brothers had action figures. I had toys. I don't just know of it. I do remember Dolph Lundgren's movie, Masters of the Universe. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm watching it as an adult now. I probably wouldn't, but you were like a child. It was magic. It was great. For me, when I first started this, I watched it for this show, guys, because I didn't really have an intention to watch it. But first episode, I was completely confused. Did they just kill He-Man? I think this is his show. And they're like, wait a minute. Okay. Get second episode. I recognized the voice acting, though. Evil Lynn, I knew she was Cersei. I was like, that's Cersei. Hold on. So then it forced me to then now look into the show more. And third episode, I'm like, yeah, they really didn't bring back He-Man. Hold on. Who the hell is this Teela character? So I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. The artwork is great. I find out later that it's the same people who did Castlevania. The amazing. I love the artwork. I love the animation. The story isn't bad. I just didn't know what to expect. So it forced me to then pause in the middle. And I'm like, okay, let me find out what's going on. Because maybe I don't know He-Man. Maybe I don't know the show. And I went on YouTube and said 10 things you should watch before watching Masters of the Universe Revelations. And gave you a bunch of crap about He-Man in the 80s and all the different things that they went through. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to be different. So then went back to the show and then just took it for what it was. And I actually enjoyed it for what it was. Not relating it to anything to He-Man. The storyline was pretty decent. It gave me He-Man characters. I didn't like that Orko died. That I was sad about. I didn't like
Tony. Do the thing. Tony, do the thing.
I mean, at this point, it's on Netflix. I mean, unless you want to, Tone.
Oh, did I do spoilers? Oh, sorry.
No.
I wasn't sure if we were getting
we'll
into
do
it.
this. We'll do this just for George.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was. I enjoyed it. I went back after I finished the series to see responses and people's reactions. People were pissed. People are pissed because I guess it was marketed as a He-Man show, but I didn't see any of that. And people were like, oh, how could you kill He-Man twice? Oh my God. I just really thought it was a very strong show. It was done well. For me, I love the animation. I loved the artwork of it. Teela is a good character. The actors are great. I would have liked to see more He-Man, obviously, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see that more. I don't think he died in that second part. I think Teela probably her magic will probably come out and will help He-Man, and it'll be something more duo related in the second half of the series. I just think they wanted to build the strong character that they didn't build on before.
I think they because I mean, I was having that conversation with Tone and mentioning the law that I really think the show was more of like building the world of the Masters of the Universe, not necessarily He-Man. But
right.
Tone, I'm gonna tag you in because you gotta do George's favorite thing and then get your groove on.
I mean, the big spoilers happened.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We're talking He-Man. We're talking Record of Ragnarok. We're talking about everything that happened, that He-Man was shanked and then came back to life and then got stabbed again. Orlo died. And anyone who doesn't like this show because it's focusing on Teela and not He-Man is a man-child. So, there's that. I'm here for it. I'm
surprised. I thought I was gonna be the only one who liked it.
No.
Okay.
No.
I feel so good about that. Then.
Because so like to your point, and I'll give my critique after. But to your point, I have no connection to fucking He-Man. I have no memories of He-Man. I have no nothing. All I know is that it is He-Man. And I'm here for Skeletor because I love the original Skeletor voice actor and the Skeletor memes and all the other crap. And I have all that, but I know all of that, but I have no connection to it. So I went into this like I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. Versus like I love original Transformers, but I don't have a connection to them because I didn't watch them. I'm a Beast Wars kid, so like those are my Transformers. So when I watch Transformers Kingdom, I'm sure we'll have opinions on how they do. It's
gonna be good
and the Maximals, right? But I'm still probably gonna enjoy it because I have a connection to it. He-Man, I have nothing for it, so there's my kind of just letting it out there.
Gotcha.
Also, like looking at how it was marketed, sure, the animation was really great, and we saw a lot of He-Man, and we didn't really know what the deal was, but they went on record and went on purpose to call the show Masters of the Universe Revelations. The original show was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Then you've got the New Adventures of He-Man and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe for 2002. And they decided to take He-Man out and focus on all of these other characters because we've had years on years of Prince Adam being He-Man.
I mean, it's different times.
You know,
how long can you?
Yeah, and I like what they did with the other characters. You got rid of the two big characters from the jump. You got rid of Skeletor and you got rid of He-Man off the cuff. And
can I say Mark Hamill and Skeletor was like the perfect match?
Yes.
It's great.
The voice acting I was really happy with.
I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't get the problem. I enjoyed it. I liked the arc that Teela went through, and like you really feel for the fact that she felt betrayed, that she did not know the secret, and this whole thing of her being built up and her. I don't know the show, but I'm assuming part of her biggest responsibilities was protecting Prince Adam. And it didn't need it. It was all fugazi. It was all bullshit. Like her whole identity has been protecting this kid and who's always been safe. She's like, I did a good job. When in reality, Prince Adam's next to me. We're kicking ass, but Prince Adam's next to me. I have no idea. And so I understand when she gets to that point, she's like, I'm done. I'm done with all this. You guys are supposed to be my friends, my family. You don't tell me this. I quit. I go find my own journey. And I'm good with that. I think it's great for her to go off on her own, have her own sort of self and figure it out. And then all the other characters from the He-Man universe kind of coming together and making this hodgepodge group to kind of figure out, to kind of take away from this whole techno cyborg thing that was saving the magic of Eternia and everything, and kind of getting some feels for Evil Lynn and kind of feeling bad and kind of being like, oh, she's gonna get some retribution, but you know, Lena Headey plays a bad person all the time. She can't play a good guy. Like I knew that Lena Headey had like some ulterior motives, but when she went with Skeletor at the end, you kind of fell for it. It didn't just feel like she's continuing on. It just felt like I really like you kids, but I got to do what I got to do. Right. And then they end the show with Skeletor having the sort of power. Like, who would have fucking thought of that?
Right. That's something that I don't think ever happened in the original series. No. And then for it to end this way, you're like, holy shit, he just accomplished what they prevented for like 200 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, and like the previous episode, you focus on all the other champions. Like you see them all, and you see how they're really good people, and they're just there enjoying paradise. And you see King Grayskull, and how it's all kind of like an honor to be there. And then at the end, Skeletor gets the soda power, says the words, and he is now a champion. And how they deal with that is setting up for the next season. And to your point, Val, I think that's probably when we'll see a little bit of more Prince Adam and seeing more He-Man. But it's, to your point, a relationship, a one-on-one relationship of He-Man and Teela, and not just He-Man just running the show. We'll see both of them as very strong characters, as equals, seeing eye to eye, which I'm assuming back in the show, we didn't really have that.
The show was a 30-minute commercial.
Yeah.
It was a toy
commercial. And to think, it's a fucking toy commercial. So even if you have it's a fucking... I love the Transformers 86 movie, but it's a fucking toy movie. It's amazing movie. It's amazing. I love it, but it's a toy movie. But I enjoyed these 5 episodes. I want to see part 2. I want to see what else would they do with it. I don't get all the hate. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I was gonna add that, I like that you brought the champions and everything, because if you all looked at it too, Prince Adam was the only one that chose to be in his normal form in the
Which they
afterlife.
called his lesser self, which I
Yeah,
found very interesting wording, where he just was
yeah,
being more true to himself, I think.
which
Yeah.
was
Like,
it. Yeah, I mean, it gave a lot more for the He-Man character too, because that just explained more of his character.
mhm.
Mhm.
Lost.
Well,
Yeah, I'm in agreement with all you guys. Like this was,
Ah,
I went into it where I was like, don't really have any like preconceived notions of the story and who these characters are. I don't have a deep connection to them, so I'm going in essentially blind, shy of maybe like a few history of episodes and like Shira, you know, but I don't even know that they're connecting it or what have you. And to be fair, Netflix has done an amazing job with both Voltron and Shira, that I was like, I'm not worried. Kevin Smith is like show running this, and I was like, nerds, has he not given us enough credit? Like, has he not shown that he's the guy that you want to trust with a project because he's a nerd who loves lore? Like, it's not like he's gonna just go in there blind and just be like, I'm gonna throw this on the wall, see what sticks, and then take that off, throw it in a blender, and then like give you guys garbage.
yeah.
No, he's gonna be like, he knows that this is like a childhood pastime for so much like people. Why would he be careless with it, with like this big of a project? Did a very good job with the marketing, because they knew what they were doing. They were going to get everyone to watch it by saying, Master of the Universe and showing He-Man and like dope trailer, and then just knock out Skeletor and He-Man in the first episode. Like,
fam,
did not see that coming, but I'm here for it because again, I'm here for the stories that like are new takes on old, rewashed stories. Like we've seen enough, I'm sure. And Tone was telling all the series we've done before. Like, give me something new. Obviously, they're giving you revelations. They're giving you stuff that's going to add to the lore of this universe.
I think they're giving more character content also, because from what I understood after watching the series and looking into it more, there's no continuity in the original series. Each episode was just like a pieced together thing thrown there, and it didn't combine with anything else. And it was just like, oh, we defeated Skeletor, haha, yay, and that was it. So I don't know why people are so mad.
So it's one of those things where like they fell in love with the idea of something, and it's like, yeah, but that's not what I promised. At no point did we say we're getting He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like we all said, it's Masters of the Universe Revelations. So they put their own expectations of, oh my gosh, we're gonna get a new He-Man show. No one said that.
Right.
No one said that.
But at least to a point where like they were building a universe. Because again, like there's a lot of people who wanted to see He-Man come to stream, but it wasn't titled He-Man, it was titled Masters of the Universe Revelations. And one of the things that I saw what they were doing was that they were building a world. They were building a world, and the 2 episodes we did get He-Man, I think they did more for the character than the entire series did. Because I'm probably the only one here who did watch the series, and let's be real, the original series was like a 30-minute 30-minute commercial. I did. That was horrible. That is probably like one of the worst ones.
So I watched little bits of it, and I was told from a friend that Kevin Smith might be inspired by that 2000 series because it has a lot of lore in it.
But let me address Michael's code, because Michael Sammartino is awesome. If you guys don't know Michael Sammartino, check him out on It Came From the Radio. But yeah, I get with that where a lot of people were upset that they knocked out He-Man, but it technically wasn't his show when it's Masters of the Universes. I mean, just let me. Just to touch up on it, it felt like we were getting a bigger world build, and from what I got was that the 2 episodes we did get He-Man, there was a lot explained more about his character, of how he is a just person. Again, Mike, just to go back when when he came back from the Garden of Heroes, he chose to stay in his Prince Adam form. He wasn't in his He-Man form. And that explained a lot about his character. So I feel like just those 2 episodes did him justice. And I feel that once Powerhouse Studios, Kevin Smith, and Powerhouse did great with Castlevania. I feel like they did a great job with this show. They did a great job with building the lore of the characters, because He-Man has a lot of characters.
Yeah.
An abundance of characters in its universe. And at the original time, it was done to sell toys. Now it's like we're trying to
deep story around them.
Yeah, and I just see the possibilities of different spin-offs building from this world with what they were doing. If the show was called He-Man Masters of the Universe, yes, I agree, but it was titled Masters of the Universe Revelations. And yes, we got He-Man back, but we also got his whole universe that was starting to be fleshed out and everything that we never really got to see on the screen. That's just my point.
I think he'll have a much stronger role in the next part of this season. I think they wanted to build more, so it wasn't just about one character. I mean, it's not, and that's one of the things that I don't think we didn't have that before. Like they were saying,
They
even
felt like
was the
characters.
Cyclops guy, they made him like a cult leader.
Right.
And that was something they said was different, because I watched like when we were doing the after talking and stuff like that, the after show.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call it, but it was just, it gave us new characters. It gave us stronger existing characters that weren't just sidelined. And I think that's probably why they focused this part on it. We lost who we knew, Skeletor and He-Man. Now we're going to find a way to bring them back. And I don't think they're going to be gone, because they are staples in the show.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just going to be Teal. I think this was just this journey here, and then it'll combine and make it more of a universe type of thing.
Yeah, because now it's tone pointed, like we pointed out, and yeah, I know what you mean, Michael, with the whole thing with market as He-Man. Again, marketing, they do that, they got us all excited, but it was like with Tone's point was that, we have a bigger story. And to Val's point, again, too, is that there's a bigger story being told, even though it was marketed that way. They marketed, I think, heavily was the first episode. We didn't get much of what was going on with the story, but to end it the way that they did with Skeletor getting the Sword of Power, it should be known that there's a lot more that they have planned into this world. And like you said, Val, there's going to be probably more of Prince Adam now working with Teela. We're trying to make things better.
Exactly. I think that it's going to grow.
I think Michael mentioned he's not from. It came from the radio, but no.
Oh, that's my bad.
But just to jump on one of Michael's comments too, is like I get the first critique, because while we talked about and we prefaced the whole thing that they took He-Man out of the title, we also have to recognize that Masters of the Universe
is He-Man.
in conjunction to He-Man. like you can't just ignore that. Like, sure, we can say on paper and all this other stuff, but Masters of the Universe usually means 1-to-1 means He-Man. So I get when people are like, I wanted a He-Man show. I didn't, and seeing him kick ass and all that stuff. But we are going to get a He-Man show. The
expectation of wanting He-Man. However, what they gave us wasn't bad.
No, I agree.
It wasn't bad at all.
And I
Which
think,
is, if you get past the part that he died in the first episode, okay, great. But they worked on bringing him back. That doesn't mean he's gone forever. I also, the scene where she's in like their hell, and she has to fight against He-Man and then herself. The animation of that scene on her weapon, and the way they did the staff into the sword, into the grappling hook, her fighting against He-Man was dope. I mean, there's so much. There's a lot of good things in this show that it doesn't overshadow.
Yeah.
Them losing. I don't know. I just don't think that was I don't know why people are upset. I
don't either. But we are getting, just to throw a preface out there, we are also getting a second He-Man show that is not a part of Revelations. We're getting the more branded for kids. We're getting a He-Man and the Masters of the Universe show on Netflix, which I think is like Mattel based and all this other stuff, and it'll probably be
closer tying into any of the Hashira stuff.
I don't know if it's a tie-in or if it's like a reboot of the franchise, because Revelations is a continue of the franchise from what we knew, and I think He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is a reboot to kind of bring in a new audience, kind of like what they did with She-Ra. So we'll definitely be getting a show that's not Revelations, that will probably just be like popcorn watching He-Man kick ass, which is fine too. I think both work where we can have multiple shows.
I think it depends on what kind of content you want. I guess that's yeah. I mean, I'm past that.
And Mike says, please don't get me wrong. Also, as long as the story is good, I'm good. But I also just want some He-Man.
I think we all would have liked more He-Man. We're just gonna get more He-Man. I don't think he died in that last episode. I think it was more to paint the picture of Skeletor finally succeeding.
Yeah.
And making him a stronger villain, I think, because as opposed to just a joke, Yeah,
because and I think with this show, and what I really like what they did is that because in the cartoon, again, like I said, the original cartoon felt like it was to sell toys. I feel like what we're getting with the show is that we're seeing the hero's journey for all of the characters that we haven't seen before. Like Orko, I mean, I cried for that scene. I mean, I didn't cry, but I felt sad for that scene. But that was like, Orko was at his moment. But it's like, wow.
Even Cringer had a moment.
Like, Cringer had a moment.
I'm here for characters who feel like background characters, like main characters.
Yeah.
But it's
those stories.
And like I said,
Duncan,
I think we're gonna get
first of all, the voice actor for Duncan was the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yes, Davos.
Yes, Man
at Arms. I'm here for Man at Arms. I want a Man at Arms. I need that period of time when Man at Arms by himself with his man bun. I need that.
Yo, that would be nice. Give us a flashback of when he got banished to before Teela found him. What's he been doing? I want to know.
Yeah, but I will say that the show needed to take out He-Man and Skeletor from the beginning.
I think so because Skeletor wouldn't have succeeded.
Well, but also the show just would have been about the two of them. We would have had 5 episodes of the two of them at odds with each other. And if you get rid, because that's all the first show was. What's Skeletor's plan of the day, and how is He-Man and the group gonna solve the plan of the day? And so you get rid of those two, and now you're forced in a place of what are we gonna do with these characters?
And I think that
that was a good choice, but a good creative choice to move this show forward. Into
today's world,
and giving a common goal between enemy and like
make it complex. It's not black and white. It's not good versus evil.
I think Evelyn will probably betray Skeletor in the second season. I'm calling it right now.
Everyone thinks Skeletor's a joke.
Yeah.
I like that they did that though. Like we keep going with the Sword of Power. They're giving, because when they show like He-Man, even in the flashbacks, he was kind of already OP in the show, which again, we had to get this OP character stepping back with all the stuff that happened. So it's like, how do you depower an OP character? They kind of showed it. And now we're going to see even more of that hero's journey, not just for Teela, but we're now going to get that with Prince Adam, which again, I was really happy when we saw him with all the previous heroes, Grayskull and everybody in the afterlife, and how they were picking on him, but yet they were like, he was, like Grayskull pointed out, he was the only champion that chose to be in his normal form. That explained a lot about his character, and that's something that was like, and they were like, dude, if you go back, you can't come back here. They told him that. They're like, you can't come back, you're foregoing that. And he looked at Teela, was like, no, I have to go back. I have to, and you could kind of see that they're kind of hinting something between him and Teela there. And then with the fact that he was like, you know what, I have to hold the sword again. And he held the sword. And then that moment, that shocker moment, that Skeletor just came in like, I'm gonna jab you and all that. So now it gives them an even bigger bat to fight, because now Skeletor with the Sword of Power. And on top of that, it's like, what is Prince Adam going to do about this now? Because
how do you get back your power? And you lost twice.
Yep.
Well, the first time he sacrificed himself. I mean, that's going to be, I think we're going to see a different journey in the second half.
And again, I trust with what they're doing with the He-Man character, because I feel like they showcase so many characters, including him in this, their personalities of who they are. They went deeper with the characters. That's just in my opinion. And that's what
Kevin Smith needs to watch this.
Yes. Yes, Kevin Smith.
Don't feel down, guy.
Yeah, I
did a good job.
Like, I didn't like the woke arguments or anything like that, because I just thought that was just dumb. It's just like, listen, if I understand the argument that, you felt like it was marketed wrong, because I get on my soapbox about Yasuke, the Netflix anime, that they marketed it wrong when we thought we were getting a history piece, but we had watered down Ninja Scroll. And I can understand that. I can. But as the fact is that it was Masters of the Universe, and I feel like
I also think too, like, the show comes out like, yeah, sure, you can have your issue with not seeing enough He-Man, as Michael was talking about, and I think that's a valid critique to have, but also you got to think about like what these shows were back in like the 80s, where He-Man is this brolic ass fucking dude,
Barbarian,
just kicking ass with nothing else, like a blank slate. And I would assume that Adam was what you would consider be a lesser man, not brolic, not anything. So that type of masculinity back in 80s was accepted and what people strive for. And we're moving past that. It makes sense that Adam's character, like to Seabass's point, why did Adam choose himself versus his brolic self, right? That's the story that they're trying to tell, and trying to bring out the fact that men can be men, and you can be masculine and have emotions and do all this and have power and have an identity crisis, because I think Adam will have an identity crisis because he doesn't have his power, right? And I think those are the stories we need to tell. We don't need the rehash story of brolic guy, big, strong, punch ground, fight bad guy. Like, I'll play that character in D&D. That's fine.
Who pointed out?
Right, but I want to see something else.
Right. I agree.
Who pointed out in the original series? I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. And it's like, if you think, yes, it is. It really is. And we are standing to reach 6 feet. But if you really think about it, look at the original series, how they drew Prince Adam. I think you made the joke about that the other day, Tone, where it's like, it's Prince Adam, and then it's He-Man, and they're both the same size, same haircut, and everything. It was a Superman effect with that.
That shit don't make no sense, but it's fine.
I need to see this.
He's got a pink vest, or he's got a loincloth. Like, those are the big differences.
Really? So is he just as brolic?
Yeah, in the original cartoon.
Prince Adam?
No, Prince Adam is a shrimp. But they make it very like apparent that he's wearing pink and like he's wearing tights. Like they make it very apparent that he's a very effeminate type of character, and then
I see him,
the pinnacle of masculinity with like fucking muscles on muscles on muscles, which again in the 80s was fine. It was accepted. That's why Dolph Lundgren plays him in the fucking movie, right? Like, you want a brolic ass dude to play him. And that's, I'm not critiquing, whatever. That's the 80s. We don't need that now.
Times have changed. It's 37 years later.
Yeah, like, come
38
on.
years.
So
I just Googled a picture of him, and he looks brolic. It doesn't even make sense, but okay.
But yeah,
pink shirt. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was that, and also too, he had an orange tan. Like, let's bring it up.
It was literally made for a toy. You can tell. I mean, they're going to just pretty much show the toy. I remember the toy for He-Man. I remember the Battle Cat and Skeletor. My brothers had it, but it's just I didn't know anything about the show back then.
Didn't you
out what year was we born?
Didn't you get like a discount on one of the castles for at Comic-Con?
It was Thundercats, bro. That's completely different.
Hold on.
Yeah. Yes, so, I had the tower and everything. So Thundercats is so good.
Can't talk about that 2010 show, man. Gone too soon. All right.
It was. Oh my god.
There
you go.
Yeah. It's the same guy.
It's the exact same thing, and you didn't know.
Wait, he changed and a 10.
And he has a filter.
He has a 10. He got the spray tan. I mean, again, they explained it better with it in the cartoon.
Like, literally, because obviously this is hand drawn back in the day, but the way, like, even looking at the muscle lines, his clothes are literally a layer on Photoshop.
Yeah.
You take a layer and a filter in Photoshop. Like, you have the He-Man, and then you put the layer in the filter, and you're good to go. It was just
the only difference.
Oh, sorry, we're gonna stop roasting He-Man right there.
No, man.
But no, I think
I want more. I'm ready for part two. But
we could be with He-Man forever. Let's get into the next hour because everybody's verdict on He-Man. I give it a thumbs up. I want to see what they do with the season 2. Let's do more. Let's develop the story because I feel
Smith, I trust.
In Powerhouse, I trust.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
For real.
That made the show, honestly. The animation is just really good. It's really good. And with what they did with Castlevania, I mean, visually, it's just,
It's visually stunning,
They are a powerhouse for a reason.
And if Powerhouse, if you're listening, Tone is still waiting for you guys to get the rights for Berserk, so you can do Berserk. He has been waiting for that.
We don't know what's happening with Berserk. They still don't know what they're doing after he passed away. They haven't decided on what the path is, or it's very undecided. It'll be a shame to not even finish the man's work, this magnum opus that he started in the 90s. So
you'll get the next
give something.
Now let's get on to Record of Ragnarok. This is another Netflix anime that came out. It was actually being distributed by Netflix, and as far as it goes, I would say the manga is better. That is my opinion on that, but I will let you guys lean on this. Law, you have the happy face. We're gonna have you jump into this one.
I knew you were gonna fucking pick me first.
It had to be. I mean, I went last.
So, he could have picked Tone. He could win himself. So, all right. I kind of told you guys. So, my nephew Zay is a huge manga reader, and he has been reading this since it came out virtually. Him and my nephew Jael. And late last year, early this year, they were like, "Yo, you have to read. Like, I know you don't read manga. Read this manga." And I was like, "I bet." Then I heard that the manga Ragnarok was being turned into a animated series, and it was getting picked up by Netflix. So I was like, "Yo, Zayas, bet, let's do it." He was like, "Yo, it's going to be everything, all the hype. Let's go." So he's super hyped. I'm super getting ready for it, whatever have you. And he just texted me, and he was like, "Don't do it to yourself." And I was like, "What happened?" He was like, "Yo, I checked Twitter that morning, and a clip broke out where one of the best opening fights got completely it was a garbage depiction, like a adaptation." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Bro, just don't do it. Just don't do it." The hurt in his voice was the same hurt that I had seeing Percy Jackson go from book to screen.
I like Percy Jackson.
Did you read the book though?
No.
That's why you like
that's
Percy
why you like
Jackson.
it. That's why.
Now, I love you so much, but
okay, whatever.
Once you read the book, you'll understand why.
You'll understand the pain.
Okay. I'm not going to argue that because I feel that way with every book I read. This is why with certain things I have to separate it.
There's two types of pain that are horrible in this world. Well, actually three. There are three types of pains that are horrible in this world. The first one is Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
The way Game of Thrones end, and when you stub your toe on something.
Oh wow!
No, when you step on a Lego.
I was just gonna go.
There you go.
Stepping on a Lego,
which are Dragon Ball.
You think Dragon Ball is a bad adaptation?
The Dragon Ball Evolution movie? Garbage.
Oh, the movie. Okay, absolutely, yeah.
Absolute horseshit.
Anything that was derived from a video game.
The Last Airbender, garbage.
With Ong?
Ong, yeah, absolutely hot garbage.
Bro. and that first of all, that
Percy Jackson.
Okay, you know what? I won't argue with that.
No, this is the mic.
So, anyways, getting back to the record of
I love
it. Getting back to Ragnarok.
Good one.
Essentially,
I think you're gonna like the second season, Michael. I promise. So, I'm calling it.
Yo, she knows. Oh man, it was such hurt.
It hurts so much.
So
watching Dorne in Game of Thrones.
Look at the concept. Look at the concept of Record of Ragnarok. Right? You have all of the gods in all of mythos, sitting in a pantheon, and they are voting to essentially say we're going to eliminate humanity, just erase them. They're done. Whatever the case is. And one of the Valkyries steps up and goes, "Why don't you guys use your claws, your little, whatever, and have them fight for it in a tournament? 13 of gods, 13 champions for humans." Whoa! I was like, "Word? That's the concept? Bet."
That's what he told me, and I was sold.
I was sold. Yo, it's so
Right.
good.
Yeah,
We
had this conversation.
That's how I
with
was
Val.
introduced to it. Yes, that's how I was like, guys, you got to read this because I'm reading it, and it was like, I was so blown. It was so good. The idea, the concept,
So,
everything, and then
that trouble happened when. So everyone remembers Thor's origin story, backstory thing. It literally just felt like I was watching, like someone read a book to me.
Yeah, that was my first. That was the first sign.
And I was like,
that shitty outline
backstory.
What is that?
God.
They need Powerhouse. If they had Powerhouse to do the animation, it would be sick.
It felt like they either took the pages from the book and slightly clip studio, whatever, the most minimal effort like animation.
It's sad because the artwork is so good.
That's
the artwork is so good, but
so
the way they animated it, it just doesn't give you the feeling that. And even some of the music was like, oh, this doesn't fit here.
Like this show had one. The show has one job, and you got to show the fights.
It's what it is. It's
I don't need all the flash and the boom.
No, that's why the Adam Zeus PowerPoint presentation of showing the still images and then hearing.
And then here's the pace, and then everything in the background.
Like, what the fuck is going on here?
All right, I'm done, but I'm just like that's my initial like.
I'm just looking up the studio.
But I'm just like I'm over it.
I was so disappointed. I mean, I was really excited about this. It was just it was supposed to be much better because I was excited about reading it. Then there were some YouTube videos that I was telling you guys that they pieced together pictures of the actual manga and they put some music behind it, and they run like an hour long. And that's what I was watching. So I'm like really hyped about this manga. So I'm reading it. Then I see the trailer come out and I'm like, yes, they're going to put it on Netflix. This is going to be great. Okay. And I was so disappointed. I mean, there are some parts that I enjoyed, but it didn't give me the feeling that I expected when I'm seeing a great manga being animated. I'm looking forward to seeing this animated. I'm looking forward to it. And it didn't happen.
Anime hype moment, right? Like everyone could like just picture in their head that like, oh my gosh, this entire anime was supposed to be that all the time.
Right. And it didn't live up to that. Because it's just like, this is not even too much on story. It's literally fighting. And you want to animate that in the most clearest. Bro, because if Castlevania that had more story than fighting could be animated better, like it doesn't. It frustrated me.
You got Castlevania, they're still moving at crazy speeds, but they're showing
you see every movement. You see even the flames and everything. And now you got Poseidon standing there doing this, and you don't even see him moving his freaking trident. It's just movement in the background. And it's like, oh. Yeah.
We tagging in Tone?
Sorry.
Yep. Tone tagged in. That's it.
Take a book. Let's read a book. Rainbow. Read the fucking manga, guys.
Yes,
I fucking love you, Toad.
Castlevania's dope as fuck. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, the manga is worth it.
Look, I watched it first. I watched the first 12. I watched the whole thing because I figured I'm just gonna put myself through it. And as I was watching some of the scenes were like, cool, this works. And then like I realized that the story just kind of forces you into it. We're at the pantheon of all the gods, and then we're at the fucking fight. Like I'm like, oh, there is no backstory here. It's just 13 fights.
Right.
And yet we're gonna drag out fights for 3 episodes, and then at the end of the fight, we're gonna be like, hey, here's how long the fight went. 8 minutes. It's like, well, that was 60 minutes of my life for an 8-minute fight. Like, which, you know,
okay.
I enjoy the manga a lot. I think it's really dope. I think what they do with the characters and what they do with their backstory. I think the show ends with the Hercules Jack the Ripper fight starting. You read that story, and off the cuff, you're like, I want Hercules to win because fuck, it's Jack the Ripper. But like when you read about it and they give Jack the Ripper his own spin because we don't know anything about the guy because we don't know who he is. They give it his own story, and so you get a feel for who he was. Obviously, killing women is never a good thing, but like you you understand, and really, I've read on some of the Reddit that people were like, "Yo, I wanted Hercules to win, and I wanted Jack the Ripper to win, both for their own reasons." Because Jack the Ripper, they make him a little complex, and Hercules, like, he's Hercules. The challenges of Hercules, he helped people, yet he's forced as a god to fight for the gods and kill a human, and
that's the other thing.
The
matchups are perfect. It's literally
the Shiva fight, man, so good.
I don't know about them more than what Zayas has told me, but like you figure the first fight you have two of like the strongest human and the strongest guy.
I didn't even know who Lobu was up until the show.
I was all in the Wikipedia's.
Oh, I definitely did. When I was reading it, when I was reading the manga, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? So I went in Wiki and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. I will say for me, the aha moment in this show was definitely Adam's introduction, Adam and Zeus's introduction. That musical score that Hermes did was pretty cool. But I think that's the only thing that really stood out for me.
So I just you wrote Masters of the Yes, we have to read it. I want to read it. So yeah, Michael Sabatino is an indie writer. So again, Mike, we got to definitely connect.
Oh, he loves He-Man, huh?
But I just learned something about Record of Ragnarok, and I think that this might. I mean, I'm looking at the studio that did this was called Graphic. I can't even say the name. Graphinica.
Yeah, Graphinica.
And I think that this was their first animation production. Oh yes, and yes, Jack the Ripper and Fate is a woman in drawing. Yes, Jack the Ripper and Fate is awesome. Yo, thank you for bringing that up. Badass. But I think that the Record of Ragnarok is their first animation production because I'm looking through their list and they've worked on a lot of other animations, but different things such as compositing, editing. So this looks like that this was their first full, okay, we're going to do everything. We're doing the whole animation. And I think that's one, this should have went to another studio to do this animation justice.
When did the manga come out? Because it's fairly recent and new.
It's about 50 episodes, 50 issues right now. I'll tell you in a second. Came out in August of 2019.
Yeah.
So you got a brand.
At least that's when it's
studio with the manga that's this much. Gas?
I just shared the link with everybody because it's like this. It's like the premise of the manga, and everybody was talking about the manga. Like the manga is really, really, really. It's supposed to be good, right? The manga is awesome, great premise. Again, it's the gods versus the humans. It's Zeus fighting Adam. It's Thor fighting Abu. Am I saying?
I actually really like the twist that they put on some of these characters, like the eye thing with Adam. I wasn't anticipating that. I thought that was an interesting way to write that in and how to make him compete against a god. They do a great job in the manga. I mean, I will say the story is good. It's an exciting show. It's just fighting. They just lost me with the animation in this series. It's pronounced manga.
Yes. It's literally this. It's a bad adaptation. Put it this way: He-Man versus Record of Ragnarok.
Well, no. It's a faithful adaptation. It's just bad animation.
Yes, I would agree with that because it's still Record of Ragnarok. It's still a good show.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a good show, a good story, and it's depicted well. The artwork is good. But
all the things that happened
failed
in
bringing it to life. It didn't bring it to life, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
they rely very heavily on the CGI animation, and I think it just I don't know if there was enough time or if there was
the
crunch.
Balance of CGI to regular. I don't know.
We will. Try to veal.
enjoy. All right.
But I don't.
You're welcome to stay.
Did the balance of CGI,
got this.
The balance of CGI versus the other animation styles that were used feel balanced at all?
It felt weird because I felt that there were animation styles that clashed at certain points in this.
Mm-hmm. Like they didn't know what to stick with.
Because we've seen other studios do it and it works well. This just felt
pieced together like it was paper on top of paper.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out how to like word that.
It might just be that. It might just be that, you know, crunch and they need to get something out, because that tends to be happening when you like. There's a big difference. You lean on the CGI and we get something like this versus when you incorporate CGI and then we get Attack on Titan.
Also,
But then there's also the pacing.
How much of this is COVID related? Because we also are
When they released it was when they announced it. I think it got delayed for COVID, and then they decided to run through it. I'm not even sure the details, but the it was okay, I guess. And I thought I would get more in the first season, but
I have to say it's also the pacing too, because if you have bad pacing in the story that you're telling, you're gonna lose your audience. And that's where it got and Law knows I've recommended bad animations. I've recommended tons of bad animations. It killed me with the pacing for this, and I felt like there was stuff that could have been handled, like things that they stretched out could have been handled in like one episode, and they just it was just poor pacing. It's like they were like, we're going to stretch this out because we want to have this X, Y, and Z amount of episodes. It was like, you might as well just give me filler. That's it. I would have been happier with filler than something that's dragging and dragging and dragging and dragging. And I'm like,
I mean, it also probably has to do with the fact that the anime has like 50 something the manga has 50 something chapters. We got 12 episodes, and at the end of episode 12, we were at chapter 19.
Yeah. There's no filler in this. They're not giving us any filler. It's literally just adapting what the manga is into the animation, but they just took what we saw on it, and it's not animating it. Right. It's not fluid. You're not really seeing the movement of these fights that I wanted to see. Like, I wanted to see his legs actually break. I didn't want to see it as something that just got plastered on.
Yeah. This is definitely not a manga that you would give, and I don't know what Graphic has done or the caliber of the artist, because obviously artists are still talented, right? But like maybe this wasn't the manga to adapt for a greener studio, because there is so much going on.
Right.
There's so much happening in this show. There's so much happening. There's so much action. It's so action heavy that sure, you can put action on paper and we can read it and we can visualize it, but you got to be able to translate it. Like Attack on Titan translates the action like incredibly, you know, like Levi
scene, yes.
The Levi spin top when he goes up the Beast Titan's arm in season 3. I read that and I was like, yo, this shit's gonna be amazing animated. And then the scene happened and it lived up to it. So like that's a huge challenge.
I think Attack on Titan takes the animation to another level, where the manga to me isn't as clear. It isn't as you're still trying to figure what's going on in the visuals on the manga, because I read it out. I'm already up to. I know what's gonna happen before.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I'm done.
Did you care for the ending?
I'm not gonna spoil it.
I hate it.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I heard that they're going to change what they're going to do for the animation. So I'm looking forward to the changes. So we'll see what they do with it. I was not happy entirely. However, I took it for what it was, and I'm hoping that what they change will be better.
Well, I mean, I want to point out is just like, you know, there was no excuse with how the fight scenes and all that kind of drag, because, like you said, we've brought up so many great animations. Tony's bringing up Attack on Titan. I mean, even the fight that we saw with Midoriya and Todoroki in My Hero Academia in the first season. And that was just a masterpiece in an animation fight scene. We've seen some great animation fight scenes in Castlevania. And
since
it's just
season 1.
And it's
Castlevania was consistent throughout, bro. It was
but just to put that as a preface too, because it got good, and obviously they put money into it. They were like, we need to put more money. But since season 1, it was solid, and like, you know, Attack on Titan since season 1 was solid. This is the
translation to animation from Attack on Titan's manga to the screen. It's sick. It's sick. It's just
I
good.
really think the animation, all they really wanted to focus on was what was going on with Venus and her manservants, being her
Aphrodite.
Yeah, Aphrodite. There you go.
Yeah,
Aphrodite.
Venus is accurate. Venus is accurate.
There you go. Yes, you see.
Usually we'd be throwing Seabass under the bus, but he was right. It was just the Roman version.
No, but she's No, Aphrodite is a different god. She's the Greek version.
But Venus is her Roman name.
Right.
Okay.
So he was close. He was in.
Okay.
Listen, it was too much for me when the wind blew up and then her tits flew in her face. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this show? I was like, why is this here? Like,
also, like, it's not like we haven't seen great like tournament. Like, it's different seeing like great action scenes versus great tournament fights, because tournament fights get real ridiculous. We've seen everything from like way back when Yu Yu Hakusho tournament, like to now.
DBZ
like
did it, man. Like
DBZ did
like,
it.
DBZ was like the king of like the
tuning exams in Naruto. Like was better than this. Like come.
Yeah,
it's wild because we're just
in
like,
the 90s
man.
with like the flash fights, and they're all up in each other's grills, and it's like and like, but they're doing something, and I still got it. Like,
because that's the other thing too. Like, you'll see in DBZ fights where they do like ping, 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 and like the audience goes, "We can't see it," and they go, "I can't fucking see that because it's moving too fucking fast." But then they flash to actually them fighting, and you see them blocking or whatever. We got none of that. It was just explosions, and it was like
you got the guns. Oh man, I see what's going on. I don't, motherfucker.
I want to see.
I feel like
you.
I feel like the elements they focused on was also a lot of the cheese that was going on the side, like what was it, the first fight with the army that was like Matt, like leader, general.
No, that's in the manga.
I feel like
that's like that's all.
No, they literally transferred everything, and there isn't any filler. It isn't anything that they transferred over. They just don't animate it well.
Yeah, it's a faithful adaptation. Like as adaptation goes, A+.
Yeah,
A+ for adaptation. But you need to put the shit together. So when you get an A and like an F, you average out to a C.
There you go.
That's a good, I agree.
So let's move on, because again, I wanted to get into the whole thing about Netflix anime, but we're not going to get into that because Neo Yokio was on that list, so I am not touching Neo Yokio with a stick.
No,
We'll pass it.
We'll pass
I haven't
that.
seen
But
it.
What you got?
yeah, well, let's jump into ScarJo and Disney.
Drama. Rightful drama though. Rightful.
Yeah,
rightful.
I'm like, yo, get your bag.
It's still drama, but she needs to get her bag. I think Disney, not Marvel, dropped the egg on this. I think you're not.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory, and I want to share with everybody here. It's going to be on air here. So, you notice how we have a new CEO in Disney now, right? The guy who used to run the amusement parks.
Okay.
And you see how this is all happening under his watch. And the fact that is this, and the only reason I say that is because I remember the whole thing that was going down with Tom Holland. And when Tom Holland reached out to Bob Iger and Kevin Feige were like, listen, I want to keep working. They were like, you know what? Let's do what we got to do to make this happen. The kid is right.
What happened with Tom Holland?
Well, originally his Sony deal was about to his deal with Sony and Marvel, and they worked with
snag.
They didn't do anything like public or anything like that. So what's being said is that right now, to shame ScarJo, which again I believe she's right. What she's doing, she deserves everything and all the money for her hard work. I like the hybrid system, and they should renegotiate everyone's contracts to fit that model, because this new system, I think it works, and it's going to work to make billions later on, because we're at the infancy of it. But the thing is that they've revealed like her income in investor meetings. They've kind of shamed her that way, and even Kevin Feige is sticking up for her, saying he's upset with the situation, like, you're messing with my talents. And we all know that Feige is the guy that was like, you know what, I want to put the right people in place to tell a story. And I remember when Marvel was purchased by Disney, how they were like, we don't want to mess with their stories, we don't want to mess with their storytelling, we want to see them advance, we're not jumping in there, we're not managing anything.
And this is the last time we'll see her, like, so like send her out like this is kind of dirty.
The thing is with Loki, it kind of opens a door. We can still see a flashback or an alternate reality version.
Yeah.
It doesn't rule that out. And I don't like this situation. I think there could have been something where they worked out a different deal with her. I think that it didn't have to get to this point. I don't know what conversations was had beforehand. However, I think she knew at some point they were going to do a dual release. I mean, there's no way she didn't know. Everybody, that's how they were doing everything. We did go through a world-changing event. And I get she worked hard for it. She deserves her portion. Fine. What should have taken place was revisit her contract and amend it to accommodate these types of changes. As opposed to, well, we're going to do dual. I mean, she's still going to get money regardless. She made money regardless, millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm not against the fact that she should fight for what's hers. However, I don't like the way it went about. You're kind of like cutting a bridge, and that's something that I'm not really a fan of. If they had sat down and spoke to them like, this is what we didn't, this is what, if you're anticipating to release this, I mean, we got a confirmation date of the date. You knew it was coming. You knew they were going to do this. Why wait till after they announce what they made on it to then sue?
Yeah, I mean, so the one thing we do know is that with Wonder Woman 84, that WB went to Patty Jenkins and we can clown the movie, but went to Patty Jenkins and to Gal Gadot, and they ended up giving them cash,
right?
Because it became a home release. So, and we don't know what was happening in the background. Like, right. For ScarJo to put out this lawsuit and for it to go out and be public, shit was going on in the background before it went public.
Right.
Like, you've got to do a bunch of stuff going on before we get to lawsuit. Like, I don't think she woke up one day and was like, I'm about to go Black Widow in their asses. And
I would hope not.
I would think that they probably had conversations, and whoever's running that and figured, well, we'll keep to your contract, because the contract was the majority of her money would be coming from ticket sales or like the ticket revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're unsure of the story and the room where it all happened. Like, we just know that at the end of those conversations, she felt she needed to put a lawsuit out and request damages because the movie did, money lost the
right. It took away because when they announced how much they made off of the Disney release, the Disney Plus, it was like 50 million. I forgot what the number was, but she would have anticipated at least 50 million in sales from that number, and that's where then the lawsuit ensued. Because Disney announced how much they made from the Disney Plus release, where I guess she's not getting a portion of that. Have they revisited her contract and said, okay, since we're doing a dual release, you'll get a portion of this, you'll get a portion of this prior to the release? They had to have conversations before that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's what they're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there must have been conversation before. We don't know if her people reached out to them saying, hey, our contract was originally, this is theatrical release. I get a cut of theatrical release. What's going on with the dual release? Like, we don't, whatever side of the argument that we can all be on, we don't know. Right. We can just go based off the fact that a lawsuit was made because of the contract at hand. Like, we all know that Disney and Warner Brothers doing this is screwing with the theater chains, and most of us don't really give a shit. We don't it's like the same.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still gonna watch it at home. I enjoy it.
I'm gonna watch it at home. I want to watch it at home. I'll pay the $30. I got my big screen TV. I got my sound bar. I can pause it when my kids are acting up. I can watch it again. Like,
it's a good service. I enjoy it better. But we got a question from Michael. Did you guys like Wonder Woman 84? We did an episode and
I'm indifferent.
We're very indifferent.
My daughter liked it.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. My daughter has a good representation for Wonder Woman. Sure. I'm here for it.
I mean, it wasn't the worst DC film, but it wasn't the greatest, and it
wasn't this way good for me at all. It was really bad.
If Wonder Woman 84 came out during the time of Daredevil, it would have been great, but yeah.
No, I don't know. I would still give Daredevil over that one. It was so bad. I was mad at the villain. See, for me, DC villains make a lot of the majority of their content entertaining, but it was not good. It was just not good.
Anyway, Marvel.
Boom.
Moving on.
I apologize that I had to bring in WW84, but to set the point that Warner Brothers did good by their talent, which is something we never hear them say.
Right.
I think that's the thing. So we don't know the whole story. So I'm not sure.
Right.
We know that theater
needs to
teams
work
are
out an
getting
arrangement with their actors. Period.
Listen, I'm just hoping they work out something with their actors. They work out something where the situation.
They need to because
redo your contract. The world has changed.
They are getting 100% of the profits from this Disney Plus thing. Like all these theater chains saying, "Oh, we could have made all this money in part." No, you didn't. There's a percentage that goes to you, and there's a percentage that goes to Disney. And Disney's like, you know what? Adapt or die. Whatever that Bear Grylls shit is. Adapt and overcome or persevere. You'll be all right. We'll make the content. We'll put it out in theater, but we're releasing here. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're coming out the bag. Like 60 million, sure. In the breakdown, sure, 60 million as a whole isn't a lot, but the percentage is what the key is there. 60 million to Disney, not 60 million broken up to AMC, Regal.
And the thing is that that's the name of the game. Make your money, bro. Yeah. I'm not even mad.
So I think hopefully they get this resolved. I do think that because her deal was based off the theatrical release and they pushed this shit back like 3 fucking times, they do right by ScarJo because she is an OG Avenger, and hopefully they figure out.
So the movie made 264 million worldwide in box office release. That's still a good freaking number.
No, it still is. And what I'm hoping is that this doesn't mess up a situation where for future movies that we get that gets rid of this hybrid system, because they're already talking about Eternals is going to be straight theater release and they're not going to use this hybrid system. Which
I think the Delta variant has something else to say about that.
I think they need to go back and everything that they have planned, revisit a contract, make an amendment and say, look, this is what we're going to have to do because the world has changed. Period.
Like it shows that people will buy the stuff. Jungle Cruise made money from the home release. Like these movies are the good movies or the exciting.
What's
movies
her name? This girl with Cruella. What's this girl's name with Cruella?
Oh,
she's
Emma Stone.
She now wants to think about whether or not she's going to sue as well. Bro, you got sequels coming up. Don't play yourself. Just revisit your contract.
Theaters were dying before the pandemic. Only the time they were making money was from Disney and Fast.
Right.
Fast and Furious, Space.
It's true. All these other great movies that are coming, like The Green Knight and all that. Like, I just want to watch this shit at home. Why does it need to come? Like, I want to give
the world of streaming.
I want to
literally
give 24 money, but I'm not giving them money by going to the theater.
Tired of buying that popcorn.
Let me rent it for $20 because I want to watch this movie. I heard great things.
But I'm tired of that sticky floor.
I heard.
Anyway, go ahead.
Right? I've heard amazing things, and I want to watch it.
For which one?
Watch it. The Green Knight with Dev Patel.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got the final question because I want to get everyone to weigh in on this one because it's been a fun episode. Early reviews for Harley Quinn for Suicide Squad are in. Are you guys excited? Because we're covering it next week.
I am.
When is that coming out?
This Friday.
Really?
I'm excited because the reviews that are coming out are based off about sites that I follow. It's not just the Rotten Tomato score. Rotten Tomato score was last week and it was 99, and we're all like, that don't mean shit. But review sites that I like are saying it's really good, and that's what makes me excited for the movie. And I'm excited to see it. I mean, we all knew. I had a inclination it was going to be pretty good because of who's writing and who's directing it.
That is amazing.
And they brought him on, and he probably was like, "You can't touch my movie. It's my movie, or I'm not doing it."
I think he's very adamant on making sure he gets the product he wants to get out there, and I'm all for it being a better than the first part. He did great with Guardians, and this was kind of like, Disney, you messing with me, I'm going to fuck with you too. And he went with DC, did this movie, couldn't, and so they brought him back in, let him do his job.
They were acquiring Fox. That's all it was. It was just a show. That's all it was. They gave him a note. Here, go to WB, go direct a DC movie, and once we acquire Fox and get all our shit back, we'll open you back to open arms.
Yeah,
And
because they're giving him 2 movies coming back to Marvel. He has the Christmas special and Guardians 3.
Yeah, and he's fucking genius, bro.
Yeah.
That series. So what he's done with Guardians has been amazing. I mean, I didn't even care for Guardians in the comic books until it came into the movies. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, are you excited? Suicide Squad?
Not excited. I'm gonna watch it. I hold all reservations for DC.
Exactly.
And it's not that I don't
I'm with
trust,
him.
James Gunn. I think he's gonna be phenomenal. I think the casting's fucking phenomenal. I think Nathan Fillion is gonna be fucking hilarious as he always is, and like a bunch of the cast is fucking stacked. I'm here for it. But as
I'm
with
sure
all
it will
DC
be
things, right? It's like I know it's gonna be good. I feel like it should be good, but I don't get my hopes up for DC anymore, and that's just who I am now.
I get it. I agree.
I
I think it's gonna be
with my Batman wears hoodie. I promise you guys, like it's like, oh, Laura's like Team Marvel. I'm not. I do not have the energy. I do not have the energy to be a DC person when it comes to their movies. The animations, chef's kiss.
Yep.
The comics, chef's kiss. Movies, I'm good. I'm all the way good.
I think this will be one of the better DC movies. I don't think it would still hold a complete fame to what Marvel has done with their franchise, honestly.
It also feels super in its own world because again, it's like we're gonna just keep pumping out movies.
All DC can do.
It's like pump out movies and it's like
contained worlds.
It's like where are you putting this movie? Where is like
it doesn't correlate with anything else at all, and I don't think it will.
I feel like it's barely going to correlate with the first movie.
No,
they're going to try.
Only Harley because of her popularity.
It's like they're like, did you think that it was a direct sequel or a reboot? And they're like, it's a bit of both.
Yeah, no.
Wait.
It's a bit of both.
I got one for you.
Gonna be disappointed.
Michael has one for you. He goes, did you guys see the marketing for Suicide Squad? They literally say the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy. How does DC let that fly? Using Marvel for their marketing crazy world we live in, right? Yep.
I mean, what else are they going to say from the director
What's up, Mike?
of Slither?
Hey,
What's going on, Mike?
Everybody does know. Check out again a credit chat and also to a credit con. Gave those announcements, Mike. We giving those shout outs, brother. Peace of love for you, brother. Yes.
Sure. I mean, what are they going to say? The director of Slither? I mean, we like James Gunn,
but we know what he's known for.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, that's the thing. You could say, producer of Brightburn, cool, because Brightburn was I enjoyed me and Sebastian enjoyed Brightburn.
Okay.
But like Guardians of the Galaxy is like ace in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Lopez.
Yeah, but still, right?
No, loves.
Yeah. Listen. We all know this. Wherever James Gunn is filming at, wherever he is directing a movie at, Michael Rooker is sure to follow. He was in Slither. He was in Guardians. He's in this, and they know he was going to be cast as
actors are like that. Like where this person goes, I'm going. Like say less.
Yes, Nathan Fillion's character, and it does have to hurt because again they had to. I really feel. You want to know what's funny? Just to point that point. Everyone remembers the advertisement for the first Suicide Squad movie, right?
It was Will Smith.
Yeah. So it was Will Smith.
You mean Will Smith's movie?
Which advertisement? Do you mean the advertisement with the dark tone or the advertisement?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You remember the dark tone?
They decided to change the movie.
Yeah, and then we got the Guardians trailer that dropped, and they're like, let's just change the whole tone. Let's do the music, and like it was like, dude, yeah,
what are you doing?
They wanted James Gunn.
They wanted James Gunn. When they did that, I was like, yo, y'all really copying something right now, fam. Like y'all just stick to the dark. That's your bread and butter.
Marvel movie.
It was like to stick to the dark tones, but then like have an ending that made sense. Because y'all really don't. Y'all do the first 2 parts okay, and then like the third act, y'all just fucking take it and throw it. And you're like,
right?
I don't care.
Let's see what sticks.
Oh my God.
Listen.
And then they also, I remember more of advertisements of Joker's character in it. They didn't. It was just not there. And then it's more about Will Smith banking on his popularity. It was just not. Right. It was okay for a DC movie. That's it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna end the show.
A movie with DC characters.
But I'm gonna end the show here. We're 13 minutes over. I mean, I just want to let everyone know. I want to let everyone know we will be talking about Suicide Squad next week. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about the James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy's Suicide Squad movie next week.
Yep.
Here,
Also, next week on the 11th, What If begins, and we will be reviewing that on episode 1 on the 18th. Early reactions are out. People have been watching the first 3 episodes. I am hyped for that.
I am excited.
Also, What If is canon?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Big announcement. If
Yep.
you guys haven't, heard that
That's
drop.
not something that we've experienced when we had the issues in the comic books. It was never anything listed on the What If title as a canon title.
Because
Now
of
that they
multiverse.
title this in, it's exciting. I can't wait. I can't
There's
wait.
always
They
a plan
just opened up
to have.
so much possibilities.
I'm more excited about a cartoon than I am about Suicide Squad. You see this?
Oh,
Right.
Well,
Just saying.
this has been
Yo, I'm with us.
the Savage. We're gonna start title you the Savage Mac for that one. All right, so this has been your boy Sebastian
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
and your homegirl VMAC.
Thank you
Peace.
guys.